Yeah, it's kind of funny being asked this question, because I mean I asked it so many times last year to do this project, and I think that the difficulty is when you answer it, particularly I think for the comedians where it's such a big issue, it's made a big issue all the time, is that if you say too much, if you can make too many references to situations that have happened, or if you say, yes, it's been really difficult because of my gender, people kind of think that you're using it as some sort of excuse, or you maybe think that you've become less employable because people think, oh, they're gonna make a big deal out of this all the time. But then on the other hand, you say, oh no, it's absolutely, it's never affected me in any way. Then certain people who, kind of want to say that there is no issue anymore will say, okay, right, well, so what are all these feminists complaining about? Like, what's the problem? So, you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't with that. And I mean, that is where lots of this stems from anyway with gender, so it's difficult. But I think as long as we just keep this dialogue going, then maybe someday there will be more of an equal playing field, and we won't have to ask those questions anymore. When we don't have to ask the question, I think that's when we know that we've actually got to the place we need to be.
I can say with absolute certainty that I've never really felt threatened as a photographer photographing men, or I've been in a lot of situations where I was the only woman perhaps in African countries, African cities at night. I just find that sort of, I find being out of my comfort zone very exhilarating, and therefore fuels my creativity. So that's a totally personal position, and it's lucky for me that I can make this kind of work, because it feels good for me. But I think for a lot of people that wouldn't feel good, and it's important to not think that you ought to be able to do that kind of thing as a photographer, because there's so many realms of photography. Even in documentary, documenting reality doesn't mean you have to put yourself out of your comfort zone. You can do it very quietly with one person at a time in their home, and if you're trying to do it in a way that doesn't suit your character, it's probably not going to work. You're not going to feel comfortable, people you're photographing are not going to feel comfortable, and the pictures will be rubbish, probably.
There is a difficulty in being female in photography sometimes. I mean, in any industry. When I started out assisting, I definitely kind of experienced that sexism of being quite a petite, short girl coming onto set, and then looking at double wind-ups and big pieces of kit, and then be like, oh no, don't worry, love, I'll do that. And I'd kind of really want to prove myself, and there were times I actually threw my back out just to make a point, which maybe wasn't the best idea. But it's just about being strong, because there's sexism all across the board in all industries, and I've had inappropriate comments before from people, and it can be hard because you don't really know who you can go to. That would be my only thing that I'd say, that there isn't that much of a place in creative industries, because there is no kind of big company that you work for and you can report to HR and things like that. But for me, it's always been about being strong, kind of being able to come back with a witty kind of back chat that puts somebody in their place, or something like that, or just being able to lift something up and prove to somebody I can do that. I'm not at all hindered by who I am. But I definitely find that being a woman helps with doing more sensitive work. Especially if it's, say, photographing another woman, there's something about being able to talk to somebody and make them feel comfortable. And I definitely found that there were a lot of photographers who wanted a female assistant because they feel that women are more intuitive and kind of gentler and softer. But at the same time, definitely, with training in photojournalism, I earned those skills. I wasn't just born with them because I'm female.
The biggest thing I would say is just to for young women starting out in photography, for anyone starting out in photography, but for young women in particular, it's just be confident. Just be as confident as you can possibly be, and if you have to, just pretend, because I do feel that probably my own self-confidence has held me back a little bit, and it's only you know, in the last few years that I've started to really kind of just go, do you know what, if I want to do this, I need to just push myself and show that I can do things. And I think, you know, a lot of people do lack that self-confidence, and it's misguided often, because, you know, they've got the talent and they're willing to practice and be out there and do things. They just aren't willing to put themselves forward. And you don't have to change your character. I think it's very easy to think I have to be a certain type of person to be a photographer, to be anyone in the creative field or a freelancer. But you don't. I mean, you can be a quiet, shy person, you can be a nice person. You just have to be confident in yourself. You have to be able to talk about your work. You have to be able to just say, no, I can do this. Put yourself forward for jobs. And that's just the most important thing. Just know what you can do, and be willing to tell people that you can do it. And I think if you can do that, then yeah, you'll go far.
Being patient is important, and realising that your style will change over the years, whether you think it will or not, and actually that's a really good thing, and not to be scared of it, because I was a bit scared of those in-between phases when I was questioning myself, and I still have them, and I think actually have them more and more, and hopefully that's a sign of getting better, because you become more critical. So yeah, I would say be patient and keep photographing, and say yes to any opportunity that will have you taking photos that are worth taking.